yeah, I suppose it's pretty big. Obviously, 350 games, but it's obviously an away game that it sort of goes back a little bit back to the team. It's an away game that we've had a pretty good start to the year, and we want to try and obviously try and win. So yeah, it's going to be obviously a big night, but we're looking forward to a good challenge against the Gold Coast, and for me personally, just to do your bit and hopefully have a win. Oh, yeah, not really for me. Like you play footy to win games and get out there and do your best, and I suppose 350s. I suppose it's a lot of games, but when it all comes back to it, you want to do your bit for the team and play well and hopefully get a win for the boys. No, I think when you're just starting, I was a skinny kid that sort of came down here in '93, and I was obviously still at school. You're just hoping to play a few games and you go from there. But I think good milestones. Once you get to 100 games, you're usually pretty settled. But to get this far has been it's been good. Yeah. No, to be honest, not really. No, not really. As I said, once you get, I suppose, over 30 these days, you're you just look at it year by year and game by game. So obviously there's been some, the guys above me in the games have been some pretty good players. But I'm lucky to get to 350. But I'll just keep going. No, I wouldn't reckon, and I think obviously you're not going to play every game. So even over my, how long I've played, I think I've averaged about 18, 19 games. I haven't really had full seasons, so I can nearly say 400s out of the question. I don't think about it a lot, to be honest. I think you're busy enough during the week with what happens here and how we're going here, and obviously we've had we've won the first 2 games, so my thinking's really about the next sort of 3 or 4 months here and what happens and how we go from there, and once that's done, I suppose you have a look at what's going on after that. So not really sort of worried too much about next year, just worried about the boys doing well this year and doing the best we can. You're pretty right there. I've had a few obviously media requests this week, and I've tried to sort of palm a few off and not do too many of them, but that's just, I suppose, footy, and some people really like it, some people don't mind it, and there's others that just sort of, you just get by, but that's the way it is, and I'm looking forward to this week. I think obviously you've still got to be feeling well, in the body. If your body's not sort of, doing the job, you definitely won't play. But I think even mentally, I think you've got to be, still pretty switched on and enjoying the game to play on. But and as I said, I think you've got to be doing your bit for the team. If ever there's that thought you're not doing your bit and pulling your weight, well, you don't keep going just for the fun of it. Yeah, and I said before, when you got 40 blokes, half of them down there pretty young boys, to come into a job with 40 blokes that that enjoy football and they're all mates of mine. So I'm still enjoying it, and I think that's been the key to for playing so long. I don't know. I'd like to say hard work and dedication and professionalism, but I'm not sure they're all the right terms for me. I think just having the ability to enjoy football. I've never been the hardest trainer, but I think I do enough training, and I do. I think I know my own body, and I know what I need to do to get the job done. And I think still having your pace, your pace to get to contests and still be involved in those contests has helped me. But so they're the main things. But I think they're probably it. But they're the ones. Maybe. I think that there's no doubt the game's getting tough. It's a tough game to play, and it's probably getting tougher and tougher in some respects. But then again, there's the way footy's played now too. If you can sort of do your little bit in the team, obviously the 22 guys that go out there, well, you're doing your job. I don't think there's as much pressure on guys these days sort of to take a game by the scruff of the neck by themselves, sort of to win the game. So I think if you can do your role in that 22, well, you're going to be there most weeks. No, not really. No, I knew, obviously we went through a bit of a tough patch and we probably didn't win as many games as we liked, but I think, you learn from those experiences and there was never once that I thought that, just because we're not going that well that you'd toss it in. That's not in my sort of nature, I suppose, and, it's good to see now that we're sort of fighting out of that and going in the right direction. Yeah, it was probably Sheeds, to be honest. He said that obviously was going to play and maybe a little bit off half forward or off half back, and then sort of 10 minutes before he said, "Oh, we're going to get you into it and we'll throw you in the ruck." And I asked one of the boys, obviously Justin Madden was a ruckman, so I wasn't sort of too sure where to sort of try and get my hand on the ball and try and hit it, but it was pretty much just jump and go for it. But in front of, again, Essendon Carlton, big game. To debut in a game like that was a great experience, but I couldn't have done too well because I've never been in the ruck since. So that was a good experience though, the first game.
Oh, I think he's been incredible. I think as a teammate, there's not one person who's played with him that hasn't enjoyed him on the field and also off the field. He's a lot of fun off the field. Talk about that now, Fletch? Or?
Oh, we'll wait until maybe I'm done.
Okay, no worries. We'll talk about that later. But both on and off the field, very popular person. But his ability to beat the best players early in his career, the middle of his career, and late in his career has been spectacular. I think that there aren't many guys who've played on Modra, Ablett, Dunstall, Lockett, Jonathan Brown, and all the great full forwards of the last 20 years and beaten them. There's probably no one who's done that, and that's a credit to him. And he talks about the question about his professionalism, and well, he's the ultimate professional because he understands his body. I think some players go too hard, they go too far, but what Fletcher's his best attribute is he knows when he can play and when he can't play, and when he can train and when he can't train, and that's a great trait to have. And I think the Essendon Football Club is just so happy that Dustin has played for us, and that the last 20 years he's been our rock at fullback, and we've had some great players in this football club, and he stands right up with all of them. So congratulations to Dustin, and we're going to Gold Coast to play to win, but also to play to celebrate one of our great players. He's on the match committee, so he's a fair chance. He's definitely, and he always is. I mean, we never, since I've been coaching, his position is always there, and it'll be a very sad day the day he doesn't play for Essendon, and whether he plays for next year or 2 years, as long as his body's right and he wants to keep playing, I think he's got a long time left in the game. Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, you just go back to our training days of Sheeds and our intra-clubs and training, and, Lordie's here in the crowd, and he would attest that how hard Dustin was to beat at training, and, cold night, Wednesday, Thursday night, with nothing to gain, there was never an easy kick when Fletch was playing on you. And, when the spotlight's off you and you're still competing, I think that's a great example of how good a competitor you are, let alone on the MCG, in front of 80,000, 90,000 people. And remember the vision last year of, Jeff Gartler when he's, chased him down and made sure that saved a goal. That's Fletch, just a great competitor, and that's why he's been the player he is. No doubt. I mean, Fletcher's great contribution on the field, but his contribution off the field with his teammates is sensational. And he's not he doesn't get in players' faces. He doesn't tell them they have to do it this way. But that's why he's got such respect, because people follow him.
Oh, obviously, it might have been a good thing I started off playing on those guys, because football was played a lot different back then, and even you look back, when obviously when you play Hawthorn out at Waverley and you're playing on Dunstall, and a lot of the time you'd just sort of be one out in the 50, and and they were at times, or most weeks, they were pretty tough days, and there'd be some weeks where you had sort of 4 or 5 kicked on you, and you didn't think you played too bad. So, but they were pretty tough days. But as again, I think being young and pretty keen and eager to learn, they were good times, and I suppose I've got Sheeds to thank for that, because he showed faith in me to get out there and do your best. And as I said, there were days where you got cleaned up, but the next week you just had to get back on and keep going. But in a way they were tough days, but they were fun days looking back on it now, because some of the full forwards you came up against were obviously champions of the game. It definitely has been. You look at early on Silvani, I think he probably played a little bit different to me, but the way he went about his footy I really admired, and and obviously the other ones, Matthew Scarlett. I think, what he's done for Geelong and what he's done for the game, it's someone I even, now I look to and watch his games because, he's obviously one of the best fullbacks of all time and someone that I've learned off and watched him because, and I enjoy watching him, not just defend, attack as well. So, they're the probably two, but, there's probably sort of 6 or 7 that you could mention. I think there's no doubt the game's changed, and I think it, in some respects it's come back to what it was, and it changes again. But I think it, as I said before, I think football. If you do your little bit in the team now, and you're part of that sort of full 22, with the rotations and with where you play, I think you're you're going to get a game most weeks. Whereas, you look back to when I started, and there were a lot of guys, winning games off their own boot, or being so good. So I'm not saying there's not champions now, but if you've got a good team structure, and you look at Geelong, obviously Collingwood and these Hawthorn, these teams, they've got a couple of obviously champions, but the rest of the group does their bit, and I think that's where footy's heading. And as I said before, in some respects it's tougher to play, and others that if you can do your bit, you're going to get a game most weeks. Yeah, it is. You look at even, you flick through, different things. You see some of the birth dates, and you think to yourself, well, it's quite a, I suppose, different seeing these guys come through. But I think the guys that come through now as 17, 18-year-olds are a lot different to when I came through. With their under 18 football and the way they go about it, they're a lot more mature and confident kids. So. But there's no doubt that having some guys' birth dates, it is a little bit different looking at those.
Not at all. No, we're going up there to play as hard and tough as we can, and taking the best side we possibly can to go and compete and hopefully win our third game. I mean, we're in a cycle in our footy club where we're trying to improve, and that's you improve by getting wins on the board, and all our guys need more game time, and that's what we're going to give them. Yeah, we still think about Gold Coast. I mean, I can answer that question next week, but we're going up there to beat the Gold Coast, and that's our focus for the next 3 or 4 days.
It probably is, and I suppose being Kyle, being Remo's dog, and Buddha, they're actually good friends. But I think you see Buddha today outside, and he's not too bad. He's raring to go, but was a bit unusual. I don't think I've come across that before.